Yeah. All right, let me start with that. How do you turn somebody's story into a work of art? Because if I showed you a photograph of someone, I could paint what they look like, but that wouldn't necessarily tell you who they are. Their story is somewhere underneath all of that. And today, I want to show you 5 things I look for to find it. Because every painting is a bridge, and I believe at the very least, this one is a bridge to self-worth. On one side is everything we already know about a person. On the other is a way of seeing them that we couldn't see before. And Gerald here is going to help me show you how we cross it. Because by the end of this painting, I don't want you to see a clown anymore. I want you to see Gerald. And here we go. Really excited about today. Got a little bit of a time crunch, but that's all right. We will get past that. Well, I mean, it's not that we'll get past it. We'll just use our time as effectively as we possibly can. My painting objective that I'm working on is balance. All right, Gerald is the star of our show, and he's small, and he's competing with a bus full of bucket heads. You know, so how do we get them to coexist? You know, those are that's the painting challenge, right? That's something that I will also be working on. But we got questions, all right? We got 30 minutes today to try to answer them. What makes you think that Gerald is a clown? We'll come back to that question. I like that question, but we're not there yet. I've been doing some work here lately that is not art, but it is for art. I started doing these YouTube videos, and then I found myself like teaching again. I found this idea of myself as being a teacher once again. You know, it's very interesting. Like, everybody has an idea of who they are, right? And for a long time, one of the ideas that I had of myself did not include being a teacher. I feel like I took that robe off whenever. Oh man, I'm fighting off a sneeze right now. I took that robe off after I left teaching to join the Army. And then when I joined the Army, I was like, man, I'm having a moment of reflecting on my time in the military. Very interesting. Okay. Maybe sometime in the future I'll explain this moment, but it just came to me. So like, I need more time to process it. I got 30 minutes. But we start processing now. Okay, but got out of the Army, and then when I got out of the Army, I was like, I could only see myself as being, I no longer saw myself as being a soldier. I no longer saw myself as being a teacher, but the things that remain were like, I'm a father. I'm an artist. I wanted to be such an artist that I wanted to shed the, I was like trying to shed my, my learned soldier identity, but like, that's not something you can shed. It's not something that you should shed. Serving in the military is an honor. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. I've been talking about me, but I swear to you all, I'm answering the question of how do you turn somebody into art? You know, one of the things that was very important to me was that I had the space and the time in order to be a father, because when I was in the military, it was mission first. And well, the mission was people, of course, but wasn't necessarily your family. Right? You work, you grind to provide for your family, and like that's one thing that the military will certainly help you do, is provide for your family. All right, but like, what do you do to like tell others that you are who you are? What has Gerald done? He's got this clown nose on. He's got the face paint on. He's got the fried dye. Maybe that's just how I painted his hair. What about you? You know, who are you? Are you a mother? Are you a super mom? Do you have your stick family on the back of your minivan? Do you have a minivan? It's not just soccer moms, right? You know, maybe you're an investor, right? If you saw Kevin O'Leary on the streets, you would be able to tell that he's an investor. What is it? What are the things that he's adorned himself with that when you see him, you're like, oh, he ain't got no hair, but he's got all the money he would need if he ever wanted to have some hair. And you wouldn't even, it wouldn't take you any time at all to recognize that. And I think this is something that happens to some of us is, you know, we have these, I mean, this is a point of friction, right? It can be, at least. We have symbols, we have identities, ideas of ourselves that we would like for others to know. But for some reason, some way, somehow, our identities don't match. And how appropriate that the work that I'm painting on right now is making the same adjustment. Like the lines are communicating something that don't match the character I'm trying to represent. Therefore, I've got to make this adjustment. You know, maybe you want to, maybe you want people to see you as like a very kind, loving person, but you got tattoos on your face. And like you got the tattoos on your face because, well, you were hanging out with your bad friends and you made a bad decision that you weren't entirely conscious for. I don't know, man. I don't know. But still, we have the point is, there are times that we have ideas of ourselves. Yet, the things we possess or the things that we've been surrounded with don't match the person that we desire to present. That is a possibility. You know, but those people that are all sophisticated, got their stuff together. That's not their problem anymore of the misrepresentation or their image not matching the symbols that they are. Why would this even matter to anybody? Why would anyone care? I think this deals with the simplification, clarification conundrum that plagues many of us. Well, some of us. I think, I know for sure there was a time that I didn't care what anybody thought of me. I was like, look, I am who I am. I offer what I offer. If you like it, you love it. If you love it, you you get it. You know, that was it. Different season, different demands. Now, I mean, I still think myself to be, you know, kind of radical, but like, not without cause. I no longer aim to create chaos for the sake of chaos. I kind of made it to a point in life where like I see the consequences of are less appealing to me. Is that maturity? So, you know, it's also like I spent this time as an artist, as a father, as a teacher. You know, I spent the money to like bolster the image of it, right? I've learned things about it, and like I don't want to jeopardize it. I think construction is two parts: it's building and it's also defending. So I've got an idea of self. I've got work to prove it. I've got ideas of I've got work, right? Looking for the words to best explain this. But like I know how to teach a class now. I know how to put paint strokes onto a canvas now. I know how to correct the kids without condemning them now. All right. So because I know how to do those things, I also had to defend my position so that I can continue to do those things. Making my mark. Now, there's the parable, right, about the talents. And once you learn how to make your mark, this is when you become. This is how we know which one of the servants you're going to be. Are you going and like the ones that learn their mark and then don't go anywhere with their mark? That's the servant that buries their talent in the ground. Right? And that's the servant that ends up getting in trouble with the master. Whereas the others, they take their mark, they go out into the world. Yes, Amy Boo. I'm not 100% sure what you said, Amy Boo. How are we doing on time? Ouch. Okay. We'll talk more about it here in about 10 minutes, okay? She's gonna tickle my toes. She's gonna tickle my toes. That's what happens. That's what happens to the servants that don't share their mark. Okay. All right, we're at about 20 minutes into this. running out of time. But look at this. We're adding weight to Gerald. We're making him balance and demand more from the bus, and that's a good thing. This is what we want. Okay, so you got to go out and you got to build relationships based off of the marks that you make. Got to show people what the marks that you make. You got to talk to them about how the marks, make their lives better, and that can be hard work. You got to put yourself out there. You got to put your mark out there. All right. But once you do that, once you start putting it out there, then you build relationships and people know you and they know you from your mark and the value that your mark has added to their life. And then comes the ultimate part, and that's experience. And the experience is finding how to make your mark anytime, anywhere, for the benefit of others. I would pray that that's your truth, is that your marks are being made for the benefit of others and not for the destruction of others. But this is also the world we live in. Both can be true. And let me not act all holier than thou. I've made mistakes. Y'all forgive me. But here we are at 22 minutes, and that means it's about time for the prepared close. So we have symbols. We have the symbols we carry, the image we've created, the things we've built, the relationships we've made. Oh, come on. And the experiences that gave all those things meaning. But none of those things by themselves are the whole person. Oh, come on, paint. Work with me. You can know my titles. You can see the things I own. You can look at what I've built, meet the people I love, and hear the stories of what I've been through, and still not see me. And this is where art comes in. Art takes all those separate pieces and gives us somewhere to see them together. That's why every painting is a bridge. It takes what we know about somebody and carries us toward a way of seeing them that wasn't visible before. Look, at the beginning of today, you probably saw a painting of a clown, but this is Gerald. And maybe that's the gift of art. Not that it shows us something that wasn't there, but that it helps us finally see what was there all along. Because there is more to a person than the title you know them by. more than what they've accumulated, more than what they've accomplished, more than what happened to them, there is still a person underneath all of it. And sometimes we need a bridge to get back to them. Sometimes we need a bridge to get back to ourselves. I want to thank you all for painting alongside of me. I look forward to painting alongside of you all again here in the near future. If you are looking for some good news, you can visit our website. The August issue is live. That's www.writeoutdabox.com. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Y'all be blessed. I will hang out with you all once again soon, Lord willing. Peace.